All right, hello there. Welcome to another wee bit different video. Today's video is interesting in the fact that I typically do not do same day recording and then upload it, but special circumstances being Donavan Mitchell, as you probably saw in the thumbnail, just got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, again, typically I don't like to do these things, but that news is huge. Obviously, not even just for Jazz fans and Cavs fans, but for the entire landscape of the Eastern Conference. Really, you obviously knew that Donavan Mitchell was going to leave as things were. What you didn't know is where he was going to go. People thought the Knicks, and had he gone to the Knicks, I don't think the Knicks would have been as good as the Cavs are going to be with Donavan Mitchell. And the Cavs definitely just went to, at the very bare minimum, 5 or higher for the Eastern Conference. So yeah, it's definitely crazy. So we're gonna take a look at the landscape. Well, first I guess we should look at the trade details. Let's see, didn't show there. Okay, I know it's up here in Reddit. So Jazz receive Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, I think that's how you pronounce that, Colin Sexton, 2025 first unprotected first round pick, 2027 first round unprotected, 2029 first round unprotected, and then 2026 pick swap, meaning the Cavs will take the Jazz pick if the Jazz do worse and the Cavs do better. So essentially the Jazz get to pick what pick do they want between the both of them, and they're obviously going to take the better pick. And then the same thing for 2028. So for 2025 through 2029, essentially the Jazz have whatever the Cavs have to offer. So that is obviously a big deal. I think Colin Sexton leaving was bound to happen because you can't have Colin Sexton, Donovan Mitchell, and Darius Garland. As soon as I saw the trade, I told my brothers, yeah, Colin Sexton has to have been traded along with it. Lauri Markkanen is a nice add-on for the Jazz just to have. He did well on the Cavs and just being a marksman and just a shooter who they had to stretch the floor. But again, it's definitely a big deal just across the league, and here's why. We look at the standings now. Cleveland Cavaliers are gonna easily jump to top 5. Who they'll compete with is probably the Raptors, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, and Heat. Maybe. Oh, you know what? Scratch that. The Nets. The Eastern Conference, those top 7 teams are going to be a serious problem because if you really think about it, Nets are going to be competing for 1. So will Boston, Bucks, and Heat. I don't think the Sixers will be a first seed next year, but honestly, you never know. I feel like everything's kind of up in the air with the Eastern Conference. And that's saying a lot because over the years, the Western Conference has always been the more stacked, and it still is, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely become more competitive in the Eastern Conference. And you have teams like Charlotte who lost Miles Bridges, Knicks who added Jalen Brunson, so, and Hawks too, you know, they're going to be competing because they just got DeJounte Murray. So it's going to be a wide open race to see who really takes the cake for the Eastern Conference. For sure, the 3 teams that are guaranteed going to be there are the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Nets. I'd like to tell you the Heat will as well, but I feel like the biggest sure things are the Bucks, Celtics, and the Nets, just because superstars are very important in this league. And of course, Jimmy Butler is, but Giannis is Giannis, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are an amazing duo. And then the Nets have superstar power in Kyrie and KD, and also have a lot more depth than they did last year compared to this year. So moving on next, we're actually gonna again take a look at the current roster now for the Cavaliers, and let's see. So their updated roster now, they got Darius Garland, Ricky Rubio, Raul Neto, RJ Nembhard Jr., which I don't even know who that is, but Darius Garland's gonna be the starting point guard. Starting shooting guard, Donovan Mitchell. Next to him, if he does come off the bench, is Karis LeVert, which is an amazing person to have off the bench, probably their 6th man. Cedi Osman, Isaac Okoro, both guys that can be contributors and have, a role player kind of role. And Evan Mobley, obviously big time. Just looked like the rookie of the year. He was my rookie of the year. Scottie Pippen obviously won, but definitely someone that going into his second year, you expect to even take a bigger leap into that, stardom, because he really proved again as a rookie that he can do it. So him there, Kevin Love off the bench, Dean Wade, who during midseason had a bit of a role, Jared Allen, obviously big time, and here you go, Robin Lopez is backup. I think Isaiah Mobley is Evan Mobley's brother. Let me confirm that. Let's check it out. Yeah, Isaiah Mobley is definitely Evan Mobley's. Yep, that's his brother. He's 22, and Evan's 21. So yeah, definitely a roster that is. It's gonna be hard to guard them, because Darius is super ball dominant. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's gonna pair with Donovan Mitchell, because he was really ball dominant as well in the Jazz. But just let's take a look at some of the reactions here on the Cavaliers subreddit. So this is where all the Cavs fans are in their own subreddit, and here is just excitement. Dude is easily one of my favorite players. I'm not totally sold on the fit next to Darius Garland, but I know they're going to be one of the most exciting backcourts in the NBA. 100% true. Love seeing Kobe go for it. I think that's their GM. We're not sitting around waiting for LeBron anymore. Go get the stars when you can. Figure the rest out later. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty wild. Let's look at some more comments here. Let me zoom in for you guys so you can see a little better. Probably should have done that earlier. Okay, so more comments. What a timeline for Cleveland sports. Oh my god. Cavs have 4 legitimate all-stars and great depth. Well, this is Cleveland Guardians and Cleveland Browns. Let's not get into that. Getting Mitchell without DG, Darius Garland, Mobley, or Allen getting traded. Let's go. In conclusion, Cavs are back. That is true. Cavs are going to be a serious problem. But yeah, what do you guys think about the Cavs trade? I think that it's definitely something the Cavs at some point had to do, and it was the right thing to do. It's not every day you get a player like Donovan Mitchell falling to you. Obviously, they gave up a lot, and definitely 2025 to 2029, it's not looking the best for their draft picks, but you can't pass up a player on Donovan Mitchell, and it's going to be very interesting if they're healthy to see how far they can go in the playoffs, and if they can really pull together, because they're still a young squad. Donovan Mitchell's only he's only 25, and Colin Sexton, I think, just signed a 4-year, $72 million deal with the Jazz. So, if you were interested in seeing his future, well, you're going to see it with the Jazz for the next 4 years, unless he gets traded in the next couple of years. But anyway, I think this is a big trade. Again, I typically don't do same-day uploads, but this is absolutely a game changer for everyone in the NBA. The Cavs are no longer just a team that you look at on your schedule and you say, easy dub. You are going to have to fight for that win. So, anyway, thank you for watching. This is All They've Been Different. All We've Been Different. And we out.